Hello once again, my friends, and once more into the mix we go. This is gonna be a epic four banger of a day in Minecraft. I'm Habbage. Thanks for dropping by. Hope you enjoy. We're gonna finish up the work that we've begun. This may be a pretty quick episode, actually. Get our average uh, episode length down a little bit. We'll see. Um, I really wanted to finish up that floor a little bit and get the redstone and stuff moved up to a couple chests closer over to our eventual building site. And as I teased at the end of the last episode, I do think we'll probably take a little break beyond that, um, just to get ourselves out of the nope, not that one, this one. Out of the mode of 6. Should do it. Out of the mode of home improvement for a second. Just a little break tomorrow, something different. And I've teased it a lot. There's a S'mores Orchid. He's always watching it. Hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing? You're kind of watching the wall today. I said you were watching your flower. Should we kick you over a little bit so you can see it? There you go. Yeah, you want to see your flower? I know, probably one of those bad monsters came and pushed you. Or it was me. Um, yeah, so we'll just run these kind of down on site. We'll probably move the crafting bench and the stone cutter as well eventually, just to have things where we need them. So much of life is like that. Like, you can simplify any project you're working on a whole bunch by just bringing stuff in advance close to where you're going to be using it. We can go back here. It's not that far to get to these supplies, but it's also a lot of back and forth. Now, I'm not going to move everything right now. We're not going to be doing the tower at all this evening. Oh, don't need to go through the tunnel this time, or through the main tower. We can just go right up these stairs. But I think for this episode, we're at least going to try to do two things after we get this redstone moved. Redstone? Sandstone. Red sandstone. It's like redstone, but less magical in a electric circuit kind of way. What do we have over here? That's just glass. Okay. Well, this will get us a little breathing room for our supplies. It's just a little progress towards our eventual goal. And we don't have to do any of it all in one big shot, but once we get going on the tower, I think we're going to want to, leverage our momentum and keep it moving. But that's just one less thing we have to do. It's ready to go. Now, what we really want to do in this episode, and the reason I came back, other than to get to see S'more one more time, because we hadn't really ingrained path. So hard to resist. But yeah, other than doing those kind of things, we want to get this floor cleaned up and some of this cobble. I think we'll eventually want to take these up just kind of an in-between. I think we'll probably take each of these an extra level up and then fill in so that we're kind of a more steady, and then get all that to a flat stone, and then we can do a facing or something like that to make it look pretty eventually. I'm not doing that tonight either, just purely looking to clean up some of this tacky looking evidence that at one point we didn't have enough stone to be consistent. and we didn't even have Silk Touch at some of this, so we were getting cobble and having to fill in just to get by. So I think it'll be worth it for a nice evening. I got some chicken out to grill, and it is just on the counter getting warmed up. It's my fridge runs pretty cold, so it can do with some sitting to um, get ready to cook. You don't want to. I know that was a big mistake I used to make back when I've since I was a kid. My parents taught me kind of the basics of cooking, and while I've never really been an exceptional cook, I've been passable and fair enough. But if kind of as years go by, you go, yeah, I can do better than what's just pre-packaged and ready to go. And one of the mistakes I made most often when I was starting was, or as a younger adult out on my own, was okay, it's time to cook, and you'd like get the grill all warmed up and ready to go, and then you'd pull stuff out of the fridge and try to throw it on. And it's like, man, you just let it get to room temperature. It'll cook so much more evenly and better um, just by that one bit of planning in advance. So, perfect amount of time to come through. I was just outside stretching my legs a little bit. No, the garbage man never came, so we still got that, and it's still warm out there, but it got cloudy, and it was actually like two sprinkles hit me while I was out there. Doesn't I kind of wandered around and um, tried to get a look at the clouds in the distance to see what is this part of a bigger storm or anything. It didn't look like we've got much in the way, and it wasn't forecast to be a rainy evening or anything like that. So I don't think there's going to be much coming, but who knows? Maybe it'll amount to a sprinkle before I'm done here and cool things off even more. It'd be nice to stand out on the deck while I'm grilling and be cool instead of like running in and out and heating the place up every time I open the door. But yeah, it is what it is. So since we're talking food and such, make sure I got that in the right spot. One of the things I was working on here as I went to the store this evening was I got a little bit more food. Yeah, I got food. That was the point of the grocery store. I got some makings, not for Habbage, which I know you guys all love it when I report back on cooking up Habbage. But yeah, I made that recently, and it's sort of summery, and the cabbage definitely helps, but it's not one I do all the time. But one that I do find pretty summery and nice in the summer is chicken with lentils. I cook a lot with lentils ever since I kind of tried to get the processed carbs out of my diet quite as much, and I'm not gluten free. There's no real dietary stuff going on there other than trying to be more fit and healthy. Um, but I've always kind of been a bigger guy and really found it gotten away from me a few years back. I was sitting pretty over. Well, it was obese. It was by American standards, I was a little overweight. By world standards or any kind of actual nutritional health standpoint, I was obese, and that's not good. Especially as you move through life, your body's less able to cope with that. And I didn't want to become a statistic. I didn't enjoy the way I felt and not have an energy to get out and about. So I changed some things. And that is another factor in why I have kind of come to using it, getting started on YouTubing here, and then hopefully, into Twitch. One of the things I'd like to kind of do eventually is set up something else, more around um, taking control of your life, not as a crazy change everything type of attitude, but as a, hey, these are ways that you can go about it where life is still fun, you're still doing a lot of stuff and all that, but what are the target areas where you can more easily make some changes and really feel good about yourself as you maybe haven't in years, or in my case, really since early 30s, 20s. But some of these diets and things were things that I've kind of adapted my life to over the last couple years, and trying to find ways that I can have stuff ready on hand, ready to go. And Habbage is a big part of that. Variety of slow cooker type meals that you can have and enjoy, and they're a little more enjoyable in the winter time. Make a lot more use of them then. Uh, but they certainly, have their moments in the summer. And so I got some stuff. I'm not going to use it in the next couple days because it's supposed to be really hot, but then it is supposed to cool off again going into the upcoming weekend, and maybe have some rainy-ish days. So I'll plan ahead and maybe start something that'll cook overnight, and then finish up the following, be going to finish up the following day. But lentils have been a great way, because I try to do a lot more fruits and veggies and salads and that kind of stuff. Sometimes your body's just like, no, I need some carbs in there too. Thank you. It doesn't have to be crazy, but can I please have something to give me more energy and fill me up, and just vary the diet a little bit. You don't want to go so, I call it fad, and that's not true. A lot of these things are balanced, but anytime you hear people saying, "Oh, it's got to be this diet," or "You got to cut this out completely," I kind of take all that with a big grain of salt, because um, when really done in moderation, you can have a little bit of pretty much anything. The problem is what we consider moderation. It really, portion size and all that. It doesn't. It's like, oh yeah, well I just had a soda, but you had a, 2 liter, or a liter at least, and you have one of the, you start out, oh yeah, I just had one once a week, and then, oh yeah, but I had one on the weekend, and then I need one in the middle of the week. It's very slippery for me, at least, once I've started those kind of cheat days that a lot of fitness or dietary plans call for. Oh yeah, you can do that, but then on your cheat day you can have whatever you want, donuts and all that. Well, yeah, then the cheat days start happening more and more regularly because you crave all that stuff. So I keep a pretty tight rein on the cheaty type stuff for myself, and try to keep a lot of that at arm's distance, if not more. And so for myself, more than I advocate for a lot of other people, I've at times I do better and worse. Through the pandemic, I definitely lost some ground that I'd had back in early 2019, when I was really doing well. And then it's a pandemic. We all, it's kind of it's like the freshman 15 in college. We were all spending more time inside, and I really tried to keep moving and keep active, and walking and all those kind of things, using trails when they were lightly populated. But it's just tough. You don't have that instant feedback of seeing other people. It's a little easier to, you're you've been sitting around in sweats and that kind of stuff through the winter, or lounge pants and that kind of thing. And, oh yeah, I only have to do laundry every few weeks because I hardly use any clothes. Well, all that reinforces yeah, I'm doing okay. You're not as consciously aware. And then for me, the beginning of the pandemic was probably the easy slipping point, because when it felt like everybody's going to get this, no matter how careful you're trying to be, people are getting sick left and right. Can you even expect that, you're going to be able to stay safe despite this? And this was, kind of right when everything was like in short supply at the grocery stores and all that. Everybody's crazy for toilet paper and hand sanitizer and all that kind of stuff. Um, One of the big things was, make sure that you have enough food, that if you get sick, you might be sick for 2 weeks or something. So make sure you have enough. And I live alone, right? I don't have a family or, somebody that can still go out if I'd gotten sick. And fortunately, if I ever had COVID, I didn't ever have any symptoms or anything like that. As healthy as I could have been through all this, because you don't go out and get exposed to colds and flu and all that kind of stuff. So that was pretty welcome. But when it was first happening, I kind of loaded up my pantry with all the stuff that I'd gotten rid of over the year and a half prior. Canned soups and ready prepared meals and that kind of stuff, because I didn't want to go to the grocery store as often. And one of the things that I've really found is I had to change the way I shopped, because I was definitely go load up the freezer, get some values at Costco if stuff's on sale, stock up and all that. And unfortunately, it's a very American way to go about shopping and all that. In Europe, where and I don't know if this is current. I certainly haven't been an adult in Europe quite a bit, more than just traveling and visiting and stuff. But it always certainly used to be, you'd go hit the market on the way home. A lot of people rely much more heavily on mass transit systems, so you don't even have cars and things to load up. So you have small, what we would, kind of call bodega style um, shopping, and you just hit the market, on the way home from work to get your dinner stuff and to have some kind of food to start your day the next day. And we here in America, I consider myself and others here, we don't even have that really in our consciousness. We go in a private family automobile and load up with groceries, and we're good to go. Well, the pandemic, you wanted to do the exact opposite. That was for someone who works kind of lives here solo. I was not exposed and was pretty well quarantined throughout, except when at the grocery store. And I never did the whole like order grocery stuff, in part because the changes I've made have been, you want a lot of produce and stuff. And of all the things, that's the one I struggle with the most in terms of, oh yeah, I'm just going to put in an order and I'm going to be like, hey, I want avocados. But when I'm picking avocados, I want one that's, the least ripe in the whole thing, and then one that's, kind of medium-ish, and maybe one that's ready to go for the next morning or something like that. And you can't express that. Nobody will pick them exactly as you would. So you're kind of hands-on. And I don't have a particular health risk. Now, my parents, I was delighted that they were very early adopters of the grocery ordering, and made that not just work, but made it work really well. And they still had some things that didn't come or came wrong or whatever, and they learned to adapt to that. But personally, I was like, well, okay, I'm not gonna go to the store every day as I had been. I'm going to go, once every couple weeks, and that led to a lot more pre pre-made foods and things that were more staple that could sit on shelves and all that. So that was I don't consider it a failing. It was something that was just circumstantial. It kind of needed to be done, but it certainly got me into a less diet conscious mode. And this kind of this winter, I really had to, hey, I got to get back into what I'm doing. And one of the things that I, thought is I kind of, all right, well, I got to brush off the dust here. Hey, I can kind of share this with other people. And I didn't want to just dive into it in the midst of trying to learn how to record and all that kind of stuff. So, because I also definitely wanted to have a Twitch community built around games and all that kind of stuff, that, that's my driving force. But in terms of, hey, what can I offer to other people? I think that for the right audience, that's very informative and could be helpful. So that in mind, one of the big dietary changes I made was rather than doing like rice and potatoes and things like that, and I really don't keep breads in the house anymore. Rarely, very occasionally, I'll do some tortilla, the little tortillas, something like that. But yeah, breads and all that kind of stuff are out, and the particularly white, the bleached rice and white breads and all that, but any breads really. I just don't need them. Occasionally I get a bun on a burger or something if I'm out eating, but I don't need that at home. So lentils became kind of a thing. I can cook those into things slow and have lots of veggies and stuff to supplement and fill out the flavors and make them filling and nutritious for those times when you're just like, man, I just want to feel full. It's as much as I love veggies and salad and stuff. Sometimes those don't just fill you up, and it's not something where you want to just gorge on meat. That I like meat, and I tend to do a lot of fish and chicken and those kind of things more so than beef. Pork I mix in different ways quite a bit, but like for breakfasts, I'll use turkey sausage over pork sausage or hams or those kind of things more often than not. But like the name says, habits. I definitely make use of pork products at times. So it's ever evolving, and like I say with the breaks, I say those kind of things more to remind myself. I think this is another case of trying to remind myself along the way of changes that I need to, or things I need to keep in mind as I go. So at some point, maybe a side channel or something like that, where talk to people that are interested in trying to eat and exercise in a sustainable, healthy way. That's not, you got to go to the gym 4 times a day. Because that can be, it was daunting for me at times, and it can be for others as well. So I really just put all that stone away, didn't I? So anyway, I didn't mean to make that, but yeah, I've got this chicken. I got some, had the lentils. Got some chopped canned tomatoes, a little bit of tomato sauce, and again, I try to get the low, no extra salt, no sugar kind of stuff there. Um, some canned diced green chilies, some frozen that I found diced green chilies, not like green chili sauce or green chili as we call it here in Colorado, um, but just frozen diced green chilies. And then I got some onion, real onion, like real fresh onions, some fresh jalapenos, some fresh green peppers, and some combination of that's all going to go in the crock pot soon and make a wonderful concoction. We'll see. They kind of change as they evolve, but I think that'll be nice treat to have some, and then makes a bunch. Some gets frozen, some gets left in the fridge. Lots of leftovers, and will just help supplement the stuff I can. But this last week, I was like, I don't even want to grill, right? It's just too hot. I don't want to go. And sometimes it's nice to just have something in in like a Tupperware ready to go in the fridge that you can just pull out and heat up or eat cold or whatever you want to do. So that will be coming, and I'm excited about that. And I just love coming home with a whole bunch of fresh groceries, and it goes quick. You gotta kind of balance out what you're eating now. Because I'm not a fan of wasting food. I don't want to take when we have so much that we can enjoy. Now I know I talked about the roof. We'll probably get there, but I really want to get these wall bits cleaned up. I didn't really pay attention to where that torch was. So much. Okay, those are the offsets, so this should be it. Oh. Good, these aren't on a torch. Again, stopgap, right? This is not finished product, but it's not so hideous. How did I miss that? Couple up here. These are the sneaky ones. Sneaky ugly. Oh. Man, I'm bad. Alright. There. I think we've done up here pretty well. So, the next piece is if we came with steps on a level, I think they want to be that much higher. Wow. Because that'll fill in those gaps. That's the corner, and I don't think that's too bonk the noggin feeling or claustrophobic. So a little more trimming here. And this may not get all of them, but it usually works out where it's like, oh, that was pretty easy. Why don't I just do that all along? Oh, remember, early on we had way different priorities and concerns. We just needed to survive and get access. We were hunting for diamonds, needed to advance our tools and all that. Probably were short on iron, much less silk touch or anything that could help our stone. In fact, we were cooking stone for a while. So now we've got some replacements to make. Again, all evidence that, man, once upon a time there was iron ore up there and we were excited to get it. Or coal. And hello, friend. I know, not spectacular, but I think a big improvement. Even if you guys don't find this one worthy of super entertainment, I know for all the future episodes, it is going to be welcome to not see all those blocks. Cool. I want you to be there to support us spiritually. Spiritual Cole, that's what we'll call it. It's there to motivate other Cole. Alright, down to another fill. Oh, it's like, oh, we got a good one here. No, no, no. Not too bad, though. No side pieces we had to fill in. Oh, this is where we were kind of reaching the cave, right? Remember the cave? Anybody remember? Anybody here back then or seen those old videos? Yeah, I remember when before this, we kind of had a drop off and had to deal with a bunch of mobs, and then that upper ceiling area was a big elevated cave, and most of the floor we took out to form the basement. But that was a big challenge. So I'm okay with having this stay elevated a bit above all the rest. Um, I don't know. Do I like where's the double? That's the double. Um, Maybe use those to open up. That would take it to there, and those would just be a more gradual step in. I don't know. Well, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let's get these down. This is trouble. This is what we really don't want. Slippery slope. That was what we were just talking about, right? We don't want the slippery slope of starting on the ceiling, because that will be another big old project. I don't know why we have a big hole there. Oh, ceiling. I'm not really starting on the ceiling. This is just color coordinating, right? There we go. Pretty good. I think we've done a couple on the wall here. Pick up any. Ooh. What are we doing? 33. Good. We're still in for a quick episode. Ooh. Oh, that's trouble. Sneaky block. I'm trying to put andesite in my wall. Here. I don't know yet. I think we'll just do this. Kind of mask the front on view of it. Still, everything you do just makes the others remaining stuff more noticeable, I guess. Well, this looks way better. And, most of the time we're running along like this, so, oh, it's like Zen washing over us. And while not complete at all, this can now sit for a little bit at least. Next real priority is probably the ceiling. At least something to get it elevated here through this middle part. I like that idea of maybe vaulting this central chamber and then tapering. But what we do color-wise and all that, I no idea. Don't even really want to think about it while we've got other base building stuff to do. So we can let that marinade, like my chicken on the counter here, for a while. I think that will be all right. One other thing I wanted to do. I think what will maybe... Oh, that's so much better too. Again, not the way I want it to be. Hey guys, I haven't slept with the doggies in so long. Oh, doggies, you're wonderful. So I think one other thing we want to get going here, we alluded to it in the last episode, is we used a bunch of our available leather in creating those item frames. So let's feed our cows. Ooh, I think we have extra wheat though, maybe. Oh no, it wasn't wheat. We were doing potatoes and carrots. Everybody wanted a gardening stream, huh? Should we do a full flip? How much time we got? Yeah, we got time. Let's do a full farm flip. You got so close wherever you were. Hope. And remember, we decided that we were going to actually hoe and get the seeds because we want to turn those into bone meal, which can either be used as bone meal or... Did you see that bee push me? What's up, bee? I thought we were homies. Or bone blocks eventually. And I had an idea for a kind of end world big old project using bones, and we can harvest some out of the nether too. There's certainly plenty there in the Soul Sand Valleys, but it would also be really nice to have a steady supply coming in here. At least not, as we said, not wasting. We have so many seeds, we often do just dump them, but we've got that nice little compost machine down there to make bone meal. Ooh, that's a reminder. I hadn't thought of that in, probably like a month of real time. We wanted to make a silo eventually to put our bone mealing machines into, because that would be the logical, grain storage, all that, wink, wink, it's what you do in silos. So that would be something. Additionally, again, tower. You gotta get a tower first, but a silo would be fun. And I'd said at the time, now that I'm thinking about it, I should really look at what did silos of that, granaries or whatever they called them back then. What did the structures used for storage and drying of grains and all that? What did they look like? Were there traditional silos back then, or was it different? This will be good. And we won't use our wheat at all for trading. We're going to keep one just in case of emergencies. Grab wheat. We'll take our wheat over to our cows, which we still need to feed. That was the whole... Remember, that's the motivation. Feeding cows. And I think the chickens have plenty of seeds over there. We're going to run these down because we're going to get more out of beets. And we pulled a couple stacks out of the chest at least. And yeah, that'll be cool. We'll be able to go trade with our villagers. For those of you guys who haven't seen it, I love the lodge. That was really our first real build, creating a lodge for our villagers to live in. And I think they like it. It's got a jungle tree in it. Lots of light. So we'll go pay them a visit and try to get some emeralds. Again, we're at some point, emeralds would be next on the list to make yet another beacon. We don't have another wither star yet, but we can certainly get those. We harvested a bunch of obsidian so that we can redo our wither arena. And was that same? No, it was a different piece of zombie flesh. Okay, beets. Yeah, so our wither arena kind of got beat up, and we didn't have enough eggs going in to really load up chickens and get a bunch of wither roses. So having more obsidian will let us kind of enclose that room, and while he'll still damage it, it won't be the crater to devastation that we've seen in the last couple of fights, where he's just, making a cave above us if we don't get him immediately. So, get it? So that's another thing to look forward to. As I was saying that, I was kind of thinking, like, man, where did we leave the wither arena? Trying to think of where we built it. Did we build it in 7? Yeah, we did build it in 17 chunks. That's right. Because we got tough when we were digging it out, and had to kind of curve and wend our way around to find a big enough dirt area, or rock area, where we weren't just reconnecting to already explored tunnels. So, that's right. Yeah, that was a moment. I was like, I don't know if I remember where we put all that. Yeah, wither fights. We've got a few more skulls at least to use, and we got a nice nether highway out to a wither scaly farm, so we can go there and loop around a little bit, trying to get some more skulls. So I know we're going to be at least one beat short. We had that one square we had to repair. Let's see if we pick up the other two. It's kind of tough to tell by sound with all the bees around. At some point we're going to have to get back in the habit of... I thought that was a beat, but it was just our zombie flesh we tossed. Alright. So after this, we don't have to worry about the seeds as much. We can just focus on the farming. So for anybody that wanted the farming episode, enjoy, eat it up. Gotta love those veggies. Why I didn't go down the straight stairs door again, I don't know. Didn't do anything to fix that, but it's alright. Yeah, Featherfall. Can do it again just by just by jumping. We got the headroom. It's still plugging away here. That should keep it going for a little bit. And by a little bit, I really do mean just a little bit. It does not take it long to chew those up. And that's something that's kind of new for me. By having the dedicated creeper farm, usually I have just a ridiculous surplus of bones by having skellies. It's one of the reasons why seeing that I think I want that for the potatoes and the ones that I actually wanted the hoe for, not just the seeds. All right, carrots. Ooh. See how far we get. I think I have a bed on me, don't I? Didn't I grab one out of the chest? Ooh, carrots got worked by somebody. And I saw at least one melon earlier, and it looks like one pumpkin at least that the vines have been broken. So neglect has been wearing on these guys. We need to TLC them every once in a while. But it's all right. We're well equipped on seeds. That is a good reason, though. A reminder: if you are in jungles or mine shafts or savanna villages, anywhere where you can grab up spare pumpkin seeds and melon seeds, you don't need a ton, but it's nice to just have a few so you don't have to break up those valuable crops when you grow them. The hoe. For anybody that isn't using enchanted hoes for your crops, please, 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 please go get some Fortune 3 and throw it on your hoe. Makes all the difference in carrots and potatoes. And I don't know the full technology. I haven't ever really bothered with some of the automated farming. I know bees and all that help, but I believe that when they're getting either villager or water harvested, you're not getting any of that bonus. Now maybe that doesn't matter, and it's certainly we're doing this kind of as a novelty, change things up a little bit. I'm sure some of you guys are face palming, like, really, you went from carving out a bigger room in the basement and building the same storage that you built a few weeks ago to harvesting crops. Wow, thanks for that bone you threw us. Don't worry, the next episode we're not doing anything around here. We're going to go on an adventure. So there will be risk of death, although I consider this as risky death as anything, because it's when you least expect it is when you have the issues that take your world. So we'll try to be careful. We'll try to keep everything intact, but it's due, right? The abandoned mineshaft definitely had some adventure. We had a lot of critters around us there, and trying to get the albums when we were in the both the mesa and coming back from the abandoned mineshaft. Those are kind of fun adventure-y type things. So kind of along those lines. Again, it's not going to be any earth-shattering new content or anything, but we're going to go where we haven't been before. Good chance of getting lost, wandering around. see if we can't get some much needed resources and have a little fun along the way. And there is, along the lines of our upcoming adventure, there's an advancement that I love doing and haven't done for quite a while. And the solution is sort of formulaic, but with my own take and twist on it. A little like the Witherskelly farm, not too automated or anything, but another idea. And I'm not gonna give away what the advancement is or what our upcoming adventure may be, but the mechanism I use for the advancement is largely built off of some of John Bam's first HCMC worlds and his efforts in that particular advancement. So, might be a kind of parallel project or coming up alongside the tower build. But I think we won't fully delve into that specifically. We're going to start with don't need you, do need you, and still need you, and only 2. I don't know if that's enough, honestly. I think we got some more inside though if we need them. So first things, get the pumpkins and melons. I should have done these first. Man, I'm so out of practice. Always, if you're manually harvesting stuff like this, do the pumpkins and melons first because they're your high value crops and they're going to pop a bunch more while you see you got one on the other side. While you're working on the ones that have already grown and going back up and down the rows, you're going to get a bunch more to keep going. And, for a while, because they're so, or have been so idle, I don't know if there's really code built in around this, but it certainly feels like, if you've left them fallow, say, for, that would be the real technique in fields where you don't grow anything for a couple seasons to let the soil regenerate, or you just, grow kind of, quotes, junk crops and then plow them under at the end of the season, to, add back in the plants and the nutrients and things that can then grow into the next one. So there's certainly, background for it, but I don't know if that bothered. And, and as if to show, look at how few pumpkins there are. Now, for one thing, we're moving pretty good. About as fast as you can when you're doing it yourself. All right, there's that. We got our crops all gathered. Put these spare seeds away. Wow, look at all those. We already had a bunch of melons. We just come out here one day when we had 5 minutes and decided, hey, let's go cut the pumpkins too. Cool. All right, let's come down here. Let's set a chest or two. And let's stock up. Melons. Pumpkins. Didn't do the wheat. Beets. And that is kind of a shame. We talked about at one point doing another row that we could have either pumpkins or beets growing in. Let's leave a couple just 'cause. and haven't, could down the road, but we don't use many of these at all at this point. Really, it's primarily about the emeralds at this point. So we'll see. Well, that was very good. Now, last but not least, we already moved it over there. Ooh, don't forget you. Come on. Any others stolen? Yes. How we doing on time? 55. Oh, it's going to be perfect. Get the cows as we had initially planned. Let's do a... Yeah, before and after. Oh. Stop, XP, stop. A few more. Great XP farms when you're first starting out. We used them a lot in the early videos once we had them established. And again, you're filling so many needs as you increase your animals. Getting the food and the leather and the feathers if you don't have infinity yet on a bow. Chickens, yeah, they're a little more limited. How much chicken meat do you really need once you got cows? But they're still massive XP because you can multiply them so fast. So until you have a drop farm or anything like that, that can, if you're lucky enough to have mending, that can be your repair right there, or can be your levels for enchanting. Is just off the critters. Well, hold on to that. Leave that in place. We've got things to take to villagers to start. And then if we need to, we'll maybe bounce by the dark room just to finish things off and then be off to adventures in our next episode. But for this one, that's going to do it. I hope you enjoyed the bonus, now with extra hugs. Okay? Virtual hugs. Remember, social distance. We're not quite through this thing yet, but man, it sure is good if you've seen relatives or somebody you haven't seen in person in a long time. It's good to be able to finally give them a hug. That being said, thank you guys so much. 4 episodes in the middle of the week is a lot. I know it's making it tough for some of you guys to keep up with the content, but feel free to jump around. There's been a couple you can probably feel okay skipping, if you know what's going on, or watch them in high speed or bounce through. Everybody does that, right? I'm not going to be upset with you if you kind of jump ahead 20 minutes. Oh, look, he's still digging out the rocks. I don't have that much important stuff to say. If you're enjoying it, though, catch every minute. It's all out there, and that's the point of a complete Let's Play, is you get the relevant and the off-topic thoughts that go along with me playing this wonderful game. For now, and going forward, take breaks in between these episodes. They're all stacked up, and there will be more coming, so you can take 10, 15 minutes, get up, move around, and enjoy the world outside and see what the weather's doing. I hope mine's cooled off. I'm going to go find out and grill up some chicken. So have a wonderful night, guys. If it is, in fact, nighttime, take care of yourselves and one another while you're on those breaks. Stay the awesome, wonderful people that you are. Keep coming on back. Hit those likes and comments if you're enjoying, and subscribe so that you'll know as we get more videos, and check Twitter once we do start doing some live stuff. That will be updated on Twitter. So have a good one. We'll talk to you real soon. Bye now.